What I'm working on right now is an inventory and equipment checklist. An inventory and equipment checklist. Advanced technology, hardware, software tools, private military company. I don't understand why people don't just fucking go, dude. It's time to goddamn motherfucking go. So, I'm looking at advanced technologies, tools, materials that are a bit pricey. I guess some folks would consider expensive. Different types of technologies and tools that are not mostly known in mainstream society, but that exist nonetheless. And I'm talking about private military company tools. I'm not talking about like pitch a tent fucking tools. I'm talking about advanced shit. Battlefield type shit. Shit that even in the US military, like only certain teams would have access to. Shit that you can buy in the private sector that a lot of people just don't even know exists, but that exists. Handheld tool, just all kinds of shit, man. Aerial, surveillance shit. You know these drones that fucking kids play with, man? Man, there's some advanced shit out here that most people just don't know about because it's obscure, arcane, esoteric knowledge. I'm saying, man, I've seen... Okay, I'll give you an example. You're probably like, come on, Grover, you're coming up on 2 minutes. Notice how I didn't say, but, before I get to the point, and then I go on to some shit without... So my point, because I'm not going to go on to some other shit. I'm just going to tell you guys. By the way, this is C4CW, casting 495 celebrities worldwide. If you are true fans of the show, then we 495 most certainly appreciate you. So, are you familiar with passive millimeter wave imaging? Passive millimeter wave imaging. You ever heard of that? Passive, P, millimeter, M, wave, W, imaging, PMWI. Well, I learned of passive millimeter wave imaging, what was it, like 25 years ago? It was in an article. It was like in Time magazine or some shit. And they were talking about how an Israeli company had created a technology that enabled folks to be able to peer through cargo containers, the lining, the metal lining of, the dense, thick metal lining of cargo container shipping containers, cargo containers for shipping, like on seagoing vessels, boats that ship shit, like supplies, materials from like sea to shining sea, cargo containers. Big ass metal fucking boxes that ship supplies, goods, commodities, this, that. So you have stowaways, right? Human trafficking people inside these cargo. We all have seen the movies and the news about people that are being trafficked, right? Or stowing away. And black market materials, illicit markets. People, black marketing, trafficking, drugs, narcotics, weapons, you name it. A to Z, full spectrum, full throttle, fucking let's go type shit, right? Well, on some countermeasure shit, there are these handheld devices that allow you to scan those cargo container units. I read about that shit like 20 fucking years ago, more than 20 years ago, I believe, to be exact. And I was like, damn. They can also be used for railroad cars. In other words, trains. And the cars that are part of the train. You can scan, basically X-ray, and you can look through the metal. Thick, dense fucking metal. You can see through it, and you can scan the lining, the beds, the interior spaces of these metal units, these train cars, rail cars. That's one fucking such technology that I'm looking into acquiring. The issue is that those handheld devices are in the hundreds of thousands of dollars just for one fucking unit. And then, of course, if it doesn't work correctly, if it glitches, got to get that shit fucking replaced, fixed, right? There are so many different types of technologies that do so many fucking myriad different things. Private military companies of the future have to have advanced fucking technologies. What is currently beyond state of the art, I'm just saying, like, there's some shit that's state of the art. I'm talking about shit that a lot of fucking people just don't know exists. And I'm putting together a checklist and I'm doing the research. One of the things that has helped me with that, with understanding technology on this timeline, is I've actually participated with a law firm for some years, and I signed the non-disclosure agreement, NDA, and I've looked at a lot of advanced technologies that are not even currently on the market. They're under and in development.